Say their name and they appear. We're the geeks that like sports.
Ooh, yeah, brother. Welcome to the cream of the crop, rising to the top. The Geeks Who Like Sports. As always, I am Ray Carcillo in beautiful Los Angeles, California. Joined my best friend over in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Leo Elias. And we have a very special guest for you today, Xavier Cruz, the producer. What's up, Xavi? How's it going, buddy?
I'm doing well. How are you, Ray?
I'm doing well. Folks, welcome to another edition of Geeks Who Like Sports. And we are amped up. It is a very special episode because, guys, we're coming fresh off of the heels of WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah, it's like a triple threat. Get 3 people on the screen if you're watching, 3 people if you're listening.
We had 2 triple threats this weekend, and now you have a third.
And for those of you listening, this is a special edition. Not only did we watch, all of us watched WrestleMania, one of us was at WrestleMania in Vegas, and that person is the host of the show, Randy Macho Man Savage, or Ray Carcillo, as we call him. So, yeah, pretty heavily invested. Ray, let's just, before we get into any of the matches, before we get into any of it, what was going to WrestleMania like? What was that like?
I mean, look, this is my third WrestleMania. I went to WrestleMania 31. I went to WrestleMania 39. Every WrestleMania is different, obviously. I felt Vegas was, I mean, look, it was everybody who from that was there was not from Vegas, right? Like it's
right.
Just people from all over the world coming in. Everybody's wearing their wrestling shirts. I mean, there was this one old lady. She's like, "What's everybody doing here with the wrestling?" And some dude was like trying to explain to her. He's like, "Everybody's here for WrestleMania," and he was stopping people as they go by, and they're like, "What are you here for? WrestleMania? What are you here for? WrestleMania?" It's like. And the old lady's like, "Oh my God, I just want to play my slots. I just want my Buffalo." Like, she's like, you know. But yeah, I mean, Vegas was, of course, not prepared. As you know, this is the first WrestleMania in Vegas since WrestleMania 9.
Wow. Yeah.
And even with Allegiant Stadium, which holds over 60,000 people, they're not used to having 60,000 people in that stadium because the Raiders play there. So they realize that if that team ever gets good again, they're going to probably have to figure out a few extra ways into and out of the stadium.
Yeah, I saw the crowds, and actually the best footage was some of these guys trying to run up the down escalator to get out, and them just failing miserably.
Yes, we wisely on night 2 we hung back because where our seats, we were on the loge level, which is like the middle level, and we were able to kind of like hang back at the stadium bar, and we just did that. They let us stay for an hour after the show on night 2.
Why wouldn't you? You know, I'm gonna be honest with you. I never understood. This isn't just limited to WrestleMania. I don't, barring having to be somewhere, which is a thing, or it's late and you got to work the next day.
Right.
I don't understand why people rush out of stadiums. And I really don't understand why people leave early sometimes. You know, it's like you paid all this money or you're at a major event.
Right.
Just hang out. Enjoy it. You know,
well, I mean, even that, like, and if you check out my Instagram, one of the pictures was I actually watched them take down the ring after night 2, which was awesome. But basically, I think part of the reason, to be fair, at least with Vegas, right, on a Saturday night, I can understand, okay, show's over, we're all going to go out now, so everybody kind of disperses at the same time, but there's only one bridge out of the stadium.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's Vegas. It doesn't shut off. It's a 24-hour thing, you know?
It's not anymore, though.
What? Last time I was there, it was
really because all the restaurants, all the good restaurants, closed by 10 now.
Well, that was stupid if they did that during WrestleMania.
And
that's a you're open 24/7 for this week.
Right, and that's what they did, though, but they were closing early.
Oh, you're kidding me. That's bad planning.
So that's part of the thing, too, is a lot of us were kind of rushing to try to go get some dinner that wasn't a McDonald's or a Pizza Hut or whatever.
And wasn't $600 at the stadium, I'm guessing, too.
Right. It was still $600 at the casino, but still.
You can win money at the casino. No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, which well, I did not anyway. But Vegas was not prepared for WrestleMania and didn't realize just how big this was. And yeah, I think a lot of the restaurants and other businesses in the area probably suffered or didn't take full advantage of it, right? I
Yeah,
should say
that's a
they didn't
mistake.
suffer, but like,
well, WrestleMania
yeah.
now is like it's like on par with like the Olympics coming to your city
Yeah.
or the Super Bowl
Yes.
coming to your, like it shuts down. Like Philly was, I had the privilege of like being in Philly during WrestleMania week. So it was just, Philly was decked out to the nines in WrestleMania. Everybody was in on it. They just seemed like they were prepared to handle it. But again, Philly's just prepared to handle that kind of sports frenzy.
Well, and also, Savi, Philly is a wrestling town because of
Correct.
ECW's history here. So
Yes.
I think that there's some understanding here of, oh, this is going to be crazy. Also, wasn't our first WrestleMania.
True.
Yeah.
You know, not
Yeah,
that this
and
was
I was-
Vegas's first, but WrestleMania is a little bit of a different monster now than it was at WrestleMania 9.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
and that's it. And I think even LA is interesting because LA is so spread out and so separate that WrestleMania at SoFi a couple years ago could kind of just be its own little thing. Even in San Fran in Super Bowl WrestleMania 31, everything's so kind of spread out. You have all this real estate to take advantage of. Whereas with Vegas, they had WrestleMania at Allegiant Stadium, and then clear across the other side of town was where the Superstore was.
Right.
Like the events were so scattered and so difficult to get to because also now Vegas is not as easy to traverse as it once was because of all the F1 stuff and all the changes. Now the Trop has been torn down. You've got trams and monorails. There's so much. It seems to be under constant construction.
Well, and Ray, we'll talk about this later in the show too. But the Vegas Golden Knights were playing Game 1 of their playoff series during this as well.
During night 2 of WrestleMania. And I also told my friends that I'm like, look, be careful because if the folks from T-Mobile might start to spill over into the folks from Allegiant. And everybody's like, oh, what's hockey? And I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like wrestling on ice.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know. But here's a question I'll pose to the group. And look, there's wrestling fans all over the world, and I'm not trying to sour that, but I've always thought East Coast crowds are just a little bit more savvy when it comes to this type of stuff.
Absolutely.
And it's like, not that WrestleMania will stay on the East Coast. They have to travel around, but like kind of as we get into the actual WrestleMania, the WrestleMania itself, at least from a broadcast standpoint, Ray, was mildly disjointed, I felt like, right?
Yeah.
There were aspects of it that it just did not go as smooth as last year's. I'm not saying the quality of I said Mesopotamia. The quality of the WrestleMania was not horrendous. Like,
it was a C+ show. It was.
I think that's fair, and I think that I also knew, and Savi said this too. There's just no way they could compete with last year's WrestleMania, no matter what happened. They couldn't top that. So I kind of knew that going in. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think C+. It was slightly, it was average, but maybe a little higher on the average scale.
Yeah,
right.
Just the touch. I mean, that's the thing is that also. I mean, look again, going back to the disaster that was Allegiant Stadium, with just a lack of security. A lack of organization. They opened the doors an hour late on day 1 because they were so unprepared for the crowd. The doors were supposed to open at 1:30 on the day of WrestleMania night 1 and night 2, and then 3:30 was supposed to be like the pre-show in the stadium. The doors didn't open until 2:30.
Oh wow!
And then people were scrambling to get to their seats and
it
get
started
merch
at 4, right?
Yeah.
Like 4 local time. Wow.
Right. Yeah. And so again, every aspect of Allegiant just seemed to be a disaster.
Yeah.
And it was a shame, but I think the show itself overall was fine. There were definitely some great moments
for sure. Yeah.
Even if it was, I feel very predictable.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think if you've been watching for the last couple of weeks, you kind of like, and I think the added build kind of build time added to the predictability of it, because we had an extra 3 weeks of TV time to fill where we normally would have just already had a WrestleMania. And when you're dragging things out like that far into the month, you're really kind of, you run into the problem of, all of the arrows are pointing here, so this is where we're going.
Yeah, and Savi, building on that, and then we'll get into the matches in a minute. From a creative storytelling standpoint, this WrestleMania, for me as a viewer, because of the predictability of it, it felt like WrestleMania is now the setup for something bigger, whereas WrestleMania is usually the payoff event.
Yeah.
And that's how we left it. Look, I don't just again, first impressions. I don't want to say I was disappointed. I think a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I'm disappointed." I don't think that's fair. I think people are comparing it to last year, which is you can't do that. There are some letdowns in this WrestleMania, but I wasn't disappointed. There was some really great stuff that happened. So Ray, I'll let you kind of lead that part.
And I think that, like, and going back into that, we'll talk about this as well. If you watch the Raw after Mania, I feel like you have to look at the weekend now, including the Raw after Mania. And I think if you actually include that, it actually brings the show up to like a B or a B plus.
I agree.
Because I think Raw paid off so many things in such a satisfying way that it was weird that Mania was kind of like not closing the storylines from last year, but setting up the close on Raw, and then there's the what would be the launching point for what looks like will be the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah,
for
right. If you're an avid wrestling fan, it totally works. But if you just showed up for WrestleMania,
right?
Sabi,
Exactly.
You should say what you told me when I saw you today, because there's some truth in that statement.
My thing is, like, if we're at the point where WrestleMania is now this like giant spectacle, and we're charging people like Super Bowl prices to come to WrestleMania and do the whole nine, I think the payoff still needs to be at WrestleMania. Like I agree. I get where they're going with this, and Triple H was really kind of adamant this weekend of kind of trying to get ahead of it, in that like, oh, well, what if WrestleMania is the beginning, not the end? And really kind of like hammering that home. So he kind of knows that this is an atypical kind of way to present WrestleMania. And I think that all of us kind of like long-term wrestling fans are just kind of like, this feels weird.
Right. That's 100% correct. That's exactly what it felt like. It felt weird.
And I think it also goes back to your point, Xavi, that WrestleMania was 2 to 3 weeks later than it normally is.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that, again, I feel like because they have to now, this is typically when the storylines would be starting. Right. So they have to kind of merge all that together because of the late start to Mania.
Here's the deal. WrestleMania was the season premiere. And that's what feels weird, is we didn't know that. We think it's the season finale. And it's a season premiere. And as you said, Ray, with Raw after Mania, it's like, oh, okay. Like I said this to Savi when I saw him this morning. It's like, I can see where we're heading now. I didn't feel that on Sunday night. And again, we'll get into the matches in a moment. But yeah, Triple H saying very clearly, you don't know where this is going. He's been saying that a lot. You don't. And that actually gets me excited, because it's like, okay, there's a plan. I can always live with stuff if there's a plan. This isn't like when they made the Star Wars sequel and there was no plan, right? Right. There's clearly a plan here. The other thing too is I'm really looking forward, I should say thankful, that they're going to be coming out with that show about the writing.
Me too.
Yeah.
That is transcendent for WWE. Vince McMahon somewhere is angrily hitting a table.
Yeah. But they're pulling the curtain all the way back.
Yeah. Now it'll be 6 months behind whatever they're doing.
Right.
But like kayfabe is basically a thing of the past for the most part.
Right.
Dead in the sense of like, I can live with, we're not telling you where we're going. We're not going to tell you what's happening today, but I'll tell you what happened 6 months ago. Like, I like that. I like that a lot.
It's like any other TV show at this point.
Yeah. Right. It's fine with me. So let's get into the matches. We'll just do a high level, because like we have some comments on that as well. Welcome to Geeks Who Like WrestleMania.
Yeah, the first night, a lot of title changes. Not surprising, in my opinion, not surprising. Jay beat Gunther. I like how this sets up Gunther now, because now they even started saying it on Raw. Gunther can't win on the biggest stage of them all, right? He lost the Intercontinental title at Mania. He lost the world title at Mania. And he lost by submission. He had his own submission used against him, which was shocking. It's great for Jay. Great moment for Jay. I'm curious to see where Jay goes from here. I'm curious to see who is going to challenge him as a heel for that title. Probably, my guess is that probably Seth. I think they're going to put Bron Breaker now. They're going to fashion him as a heel. We'll get into that later. And I think that those are going to be some of the guys going after him. But Jay kind of standing on his own. Gunther, though, angrily attacked the broadcast team on Monday Night Raw. And I'm really curious to see what this does for Gunther's character. But no surprise, Jay beats Gunther, even though I was surprised that he made him tap. Guys, what are your thoughts on the world title match?
I was expecting Jay to go over. I think that he had too much momentum going into it to not.
Yeah.
I think this does a really great job of giving like Gunther a fatal flaw, which is great for a guy that is that kind of all encompassing, because it can be difficult to book someone like that against people. But to have him kind of be this like classic overestimator that ends up blowing up in his face is a great kind of flaw for him to kind of work through and for us to kind of watch. So I'm thoroughly enjoying that. And who doesn't want to see like Gunther just tear through people? Like that's what I love. That's what I want Gunther to do. So I think we overall his first world championship reign was very meh. But I think go forward, I think this is going to kind of create the catalyst to be the kind of like monster that he's supposed to be.
Yeah, what I love about it, and Savi, you and I talked about this over the weekend, is just strong character building, and again we'll reference that again in a future match, but they're building strong characters in that side of the belts, right? And like I think it's so important for WWE, and this is not always true, that the world champion is not the only thing that you care about, right? And I think that the moves that happened at this WrestleMania, Rey and Savi, again, created some storylines like, okay, I'm actually interested in where this is going and where that's going. I can't say that's always the case. Again, you guys are diehard. Every wrestling show you're on it. I'm not, right? I don't want to say I'm casual. I'm probably the C+ of that. But I follow along with what I'm interested in, right? The stories of what I'm interested in, and those stories are building now. It's cool what they've done there, but I like it. Yeah, it's like the tragic villain, Savi, right? Like can't win on the big stage, which mimics real life in a lot of ways with a lot of athletes. So I think it's cool.
And from just another storytelling standpoint, like for the whole WrestleMania weekend, we start on the crazy high of Jay Uso and end where we end on the weekend. So as far as like a storytelling standpoint, it's like this is what you want. Night one was the here you go, fans. This is to make you feel good. Yeah.
Well, and Jay's been coming for a while. We'll talk about another person that got a huge pop this weekend, but Jay, it had to happen. Like he's ready to move up.
100%. Just want to quickly mention Gunther, 51-4 in his career. 1-2 at WrestleMania.
Yeah.
So
that's a cool storyline.
Yes.
It's like opposite the Undertaker.
Yeah. A lot. And again, yeah, absolutely. And by the way, there was for folks who were basically saying that, like, because there were a couple of folks going into WrestleMania who were like 4-0 and people were like, they're going to be the new Undertaker. They all promptly lost that Mania.
Yeah.
So you're all idiots.
That record's going to last a while.
That's what I'm saying. Getting excited because someone's 4-0, like, cool your jets.
Yeah.
Cool your jets. Anyway, moving on, the New Day take out the War Raiders. To me, this makes the most sense. You needed to reestablish the New Day as one of the greatest tag teams of all time. The War Raiders, as much as I like them in the ring, I could care less about them outside of it. I actually think Ivar is better as a singles wrestler. I loved it, him and Bronson Reed, while Eric was hurt. Again, never want anybody to be hurt. But I thought that Ivar's most interesting time as a wrestler was him as a singles wrestler taking on Otis and Bronson Reed every week in that makeshift super heavyweight division, right? This is the right move. New Day deserve the titles. Let them be heels. Let everybody chase them now as the heel tag champs. This was the right move.
No, 100% agree. Yeah, I felt like it was predictable, but we need to move forward past the War Raiders. I felt like it was going stale, and so did the audience. So
100%.
Agreed.
Yeah. Jade beats Naomi. Good to see Jade back in the ring. She seems to be taking a step forward. Naomi, I love Naomi as a heel. I love this whole proceed with caution thing. You could see it in the arena. I don't know if you could see it at home, but like all the caution tapes said different things, like underappreciated, the third wheel, things like of all of that nature. I love this character shift for her. I understand Jade had to go over because you need to keep Jade strong. Naomi doesn't need the win as much, but I think we're going to see Naomi versus Bianca on Friday Night SmackDown. I think you're going to see that is where you're going to see those storylines need to continue still. And I think we'll get into it. I think Bianca needs a break from the main title picture. I think you're going to see that, and I think this continues that. I thought it was a solid match, not spectacular, but a solid third match on the card. And I'm happy to see Jade taking steps forward.
Yeah, agreed. I think in her time off, she definitely like put in some work outside of the ring. Definitely like debuted some new moves, stuff like that.
Yes.
But I think the sky's the limit for her. WWE knows that.
Yes.
She's just got star all over her. So
100%.
seeing whether it won't be long before she's got some gold around her waist. So
Yeah, I'm actually surprised it hasn't happened yet. Right.
well,
Like,
she's had a world
yeah.
title or the tag team title reign, but other than that,
Right.
I think they want to make sure she's as polished as she can be in the ring before they strap that rocket.
No,
to her.
they're building that correctly. I'm trying to find the right word for her. It's not electrifying, but there's something different about her that you can feel, and it's like I haven't quite. Maybe that's why it's not there yet. I haven't figured out what that word is.
It's that same like awe-inspiring thing that like China had. You just like you see her, and you're like, that's not a normal woman, right? You know what I mean?
Right. In fact, we should shout out.
Yeah, but like I think to me, she's even better than China, though. She's already better than what China ever was in the ring. And I think they're gonna and Jade's on SmackDown, right? So I think she'll go after the US title and Chelsea Green first. I think now she's done with Naomi and Bianca. They're gonna go have their own feud. And I think Jade now can go into a secondary title picture before she gets catapulted into the main event picture.
Yeah, I'll say I like what you guys are saying. Jade coming in. There's a lot. Look. Let's just be blunt. There's sex appeal there. There's the style. There's the her finish that Jaded is. I've never seen anything like that. I mean, it makes sense. There's just something there. I do want to shout out to Paul Levesque, Triple H, giving China a nod at the Hall of Fame ceremony. That was super refreshing to hear. And again, I just want to give that shout out because I think it's a big deal. But keep going, Ray.
Triple H, Paul Levesque called out a lot of people that people weren't happy about that he called them out, but they were part of his life and his career, and they deserved that spotlight.
It would be wrong if he didn't do it. That's what I'm trying to say. I give the guy credit for not caring what other people think.
Well, yeah, it'd be wrong to omit them from his life. So,
well, and especially him, like it's
yeah. So, moving on, I was super excited for this, and it delivered on every level. Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight. Again, the right move. Fatu, you keep building him as a unbeatable monster. LA Knight doesn't need the title now. You can move him up to the main event picture on SmackDown, especially, maybe not immediately, but like you can have him go after Cena. You can have him go after. I think that's what they're going to do. Probably not immediately, but down the road. LA Knight, superstar, the megastar, moves up to the main event picture. Jacob Fatu now can just crush people with the U.S. title for a while, continue to solidify him until you have your next monster, whether it's somebody else from his family, whether it's a Jeff Cobb, whether it's a Rusev, who knows, all these guys who are coming back now, Malachi Black, or Aleister Black. Like, it's going to be interesting to see what they can do, but this was the right move.
Yeah.
No, I really have nothing to add. I 100% agree.
Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I think like WWE wanted Solo to be the next standout guy from the family, but it's Jacob. It's Jacob, and you can't deny it. He's such a freak athlete that nobody is not impressed with him. So
no, exactly. Like, I mean, at this point, I don't even want to see Solo challenge him.
Right.
Like, I like Solo, I do, and he's a lot of potential there and a lot of talent, but he floundered as the head of the new bloodline, all that stuff. It just, it was a misstep, and he might need to reinvent himself a little bit, but we'll also see when I can't think of Tama Tonga's tag team partner. I can't think of his name right now. Comes back from injury. Yes, Tongaloa. Like, we'll see what happens on that front.
Right.
El Grande Americano defeats Rey Fenix. Excuse me. Rey Fenix, of course, a last-minute addition due to the unfortunate injury for Rey Mysterio literally the night before WrestleMania. I have the programs. They were all printed. It says Rey Mysterio versus El Grande Americano because they couldn't reprint them, obviously, at the last minute. But this was a solid match. Look, we all know it's Chad Gable under the mask.
Right.
But the fact that he can do the lucha style as well, I think just shows his athleticism. Rey Fenix, obviously, they're going to probably put him back with Penta at some point. But, like, both of them have such amazing star potential. It made sense. It was an easy plug and play to move one Rey in for the other. Yeah, I mean, this was just, it was supposed to be almost like a comedy match, but it was actually still a very solid match.
Yeah.
Even though I have no idea what the payoff is going to be at the end, because it kind of feels, it's just like, I feel like the gimmick of Grande Americano has already run its course.
Well, and I'm pretty sure that Mysterio was going to win that match. So they changed the outcome.
Right.
They obviously just repeated what he did before. I mean, there was nothing special in the storytelling other than, okay, to be continued.
Yeah, I imagine this has to end in a mask versus mask match at some point.
Yes.
But when they're going to actually do it, it's just, we'll find out.
If they're smart, they'll do it on a broadcast, not a pay-per-view. All right. If they'll just get it out of the way, and they'll make a really great Raw or SmackDown out of it. That's what you should do, right?
Absolutely.
Or they'll just cart it at Backlash and get it over with.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. You could also just do it. I think you're going to see a lot of stuff at Backlash that will just be the final nail in the coffin for a few of these storylines. I think that might be one of them. One match and I texted my friends, I said, and they never will fight again. Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair, what I deemed going into this as the car crash match of the show, and it basically kind of was. Looked like Charlotte was kind of sandbagging it there for a while. Good on Tiffany for pulling out of this, being able to pull out the win and just getting through what was a slog of a 20-minute match. What a real shame for the penultimate match for Tiffany's first title defense at WrestleMania. It's still Tiffy time. And you know what? This is the last months to this buildup. This is the kind of thing that if you're Charlotte Flair, you better change your tune quick, or when your contract is up, they can show you the door, because honestly, everybody is sick of her. Everybody's sick of her attitude. Like, if you're not going to play ball and understand your role within the company, WWE doesn't need you.
Well, and they have people coming up to take care of that. I mean,
which by the way, we saw a bunch of them on Raw. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Boy, is the women's division going to be stacked soon.
Right.
I
enjoyed the match. Tiffy came at the end of it looking like she was in a fight. So
yeah, it's true.
You know, like she didn't come out like she looked like she came out of a wrestling match. She was in a fight. And
Charlotte was working stiff. Oh yeah. And honestly, it's like it's her time. She is the girl. She's like the Trish Stratus of today. The fans love her, and Charlotte just needs to understand that, like, you're not the center. The four horsewomen are no longer have to be the focal point of every story. You did your job. You built up the division the way it was supposed to be. Now it's time to do the part where you give back, and she's unfortunately having a difficult time with that. You got to do the job, and I'll admit, this is not the match I wanted going into WrestleMania. When Charlotte won the Rumble, I was like, I hope she goes after Rhea, because Rhea was the champ at the time, and to do Rhea versus Charlotte Part 3, while that would have been predictable, it also would have been a banger. You know, like, they were 1-1, the storyline was all there, and then again, and this was the concern for a lot of fans, is would Charlotte be willing to do the job for Tiffany? And she wasn't. She did in the end. You know, Tiffany literally had to pulling teeth from a crocodile, basically. But like, it was definitely a thing where, like, this is gonna kind of mar Charlotte's reputation. You know, even more than all her divorces. And like, this was I'm sorry. This was the worst match of the night by far, in my opinion.
It wasn't a match.
But give Tiffany props. I mean, she's doing this correctly, and again, I loved her entrance, even though it was a little kind of funny. It was like, you know, and Xavier, you're right. She looked like she got the crap kicked out of her. And you know, great champions do that. To be fair, great champions take the punishment, and she
and like, if you're gonna fight Charlotte Flair, you know you're gonna get beat out there in the deep waters. But she was there's a line, and Charlotte knew what she was doing. So
no, and again, also you know, again, credit Tiffany, the only champion to retain on night one. Every other champion lost their title. There's a title change. Also, though, I'm glad this is over, because like I was explaining, I was with a large group, and there were some casuals within the group, and they had trouble telling the difference apart between Charlotte and Tiffany. And I'm like,
their gear was also both very similar.
Well, and that's the thing. And I guess that's part of the thing that Charlotte's been doing in the build-up is like, you're just a clone of me. You're just a clone of me. So Charlotte has purposely been dressing similar to Tiffany.
Mhm.
But for people who are just tuning in for WrestleMania, and they're watching this, particularly live, two long-haired blonde women wearing light-colored gear, and they're like, I can't tell who's who.
Right.
That also plays into it because, like, yes, I can tell who's Tiffany and Charlotte just by the moves and blah blah blah. But like the casuals are like, who's winning and who's losing?
Right.
When that question is being asked, that is a sign of a bad match.
Yeah, I would say this is the low point of WrestleMania.
It was, in my opinion, it definitely was. And then one of the higher points, though, was the finish immediately after the triple threat: Seth Rollins, CM Punk, Roman Reigns,
which was the peak of WrestleMania, in my opinion.
One of them for sure.
Yeah.
I think we all saw this coming, right? That Paul was going to go with Seth.
Yeah.
I think. What question was going to be was how it wasn't going to be the double low blow,
which was awesome. It was just such drama. It was so good.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Savi.
I love it. It's the one thing we haven't seen yet, or the WWE audience hasn't seen. It's Roman. It's time. We got 4 years of Paul and Roman. We know what that story looks like. It's done. We had however many years of CM Punk and Paul. We know what that story looks like. It's done. This is the logical next step. And Seth was the unsung hero of WrestleMania 40, so it makes sense that they would give him his moment at WrestleMania 41.
Yeah, there's a few other things in this match too that I liked. All right. One is that Roman Reigns looks more in shape than I've ever seen him. Right, I recognize that right away, which kind of it's not a reinvention, but it's this guy's had some time to rest and get his game back on. That's number one. Number two, I think my favorite moment of this match or that part of the event actually was kind of off camera, and it was seeing CM Punk in the ring after saying, I'm going to curse here, but he said, I fucking did it. Like he headlined WrestleMania and he started crying. I don't know if you saw that clip. He starts crying in the ring, or like his eyes get very teary. Yeah. That was really cool to see because that was a personal moment for him.
Right.
That we kind of all got to watch. And, he's had a long road and controversial road to get there.
Yeah.
I think that's my favorite part of it. And then also Rollins is like, when he put his hand out for the chair.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys tell me, but that was Michaels level good in the way he was selling that. And now he's been like that for a long time. Don't get me wrong. I'm not.
Seth Rollins, you could argue, is the best performer in WWE.
I would agree. And it's like, that was so well done. And Heyman too. I mean, he's just the best.
Paul is, again, he is the wise man. He's one of the greatest of all time.
It's like,
if not the greatest.
That was such a great all around event. Part of the event and moment, and I remember thinking, wow, it's going to be so much better tomorrow when all this stuff happens. But what a great way to end night one.
Well, we did get some stuff on Monday, but we'll get to that in a bit. A great way to end night one. Again, Paul joining Seth, perfect. And then night two, definitely the overall better night. The first night we were in our seats almost the whole time. Second night, we were out of our seats almost the whole time. Io Sky, I predicted it. Super happy. A lot of people were like, it's going to be Bianca's time. She hasn't held the title in years. No. Bianca's storyline is going to be with Naomi. That they still have to finish that. I was surprised that Naomi didn't interfere. I was calling for a Naomi interference to maybe cost Bianca. And I felt like you could have put it back on Rhea just because she's so popular, but Io's only held the title for a month. Io has done a great job by doing nothing, has actually gotten more over than she's ever been, right? By being ignored, the fans actually were like, we're not going to ignore you. By the way, a whole bunch of new Io merch just came out, in case you're curious. We were over the moon for the genius of the sky that is Io Sky. She deserved it. We loved it. And by the way, seeing it live, you could see, I know it's shot differently, obviously, for TV, but you could see Io setting up for the moonsault. And like, she's going to do it. She's going to hit it. She's going to hit the ball. Bianca's over the pin. And you can see it. And then it happened. And then the whole stadium erupted. And Io retains in wonderful fashion, which, by the way, and now they've set up a whole bunch of challengers for her on Raw. This was the best possible outcome. And also Bianca's winning streak now at Mania at 4-0 is now snapped. Only 4-0, folks. Anyway, that's a shout out to a couple of people in my booth who were in my suite who are like, Bianca's never going to lose. And I'm like, you don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, Io deserved this. I'm glad this was the right result. This is best for business. This is best for everybody. Bianca can go fight Naomi now. Rhea's better chasing anyway, so Rhea can stay in the title title picture on Raw. And Io can stay as champion for until SummerSlam at least.
Right, and I think this new crop of women coming up from NXT suit Io being the champion far more than it would Rhea or Bianca, because the crop that's coming up, they're far more technical. They're far 100%. More finesse kind of wrestlers who are just, if you were going to have the title on Bianca or Rhea, are just going to run into the brick wall that is Bianca or Rhea. So I think to showcase and build up this new crop, I think Io's the move.
Yeah, they definitely did a great match on Raw. We'll talk about in a bit.
Oh,
yes. That's well done.
I mean, it's 100%. Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, Sin City street fight, actually better than I thought it was going to be. Okay. I did not have a lot of high hopes for this. Also, by the way, sponsored by Doom, the new Doom game coming out in a couple of weeks. All their gear matched that. You also had the guitarist from Slayer play in Damian Priest, even though there was something wrong with the audio, at least in the stadium. I don't know what was on TV, but on the stadium, it was bad. Sorry. And Drew McIntyre wins. I think that's the right move. I think you put Drew over. I will say, I don't know if there's been any reports. It looked like they both were legit injured at the end of that match. Drew a more minor injury, maybe a rib or something, whereas Priest, they had to clear the way. Like it wasn't shown on television. Priest, people rushed down to the ring. They brought in an emergency cart, like you see the cart the players in the NFL off. Yeah. They cleared the path. They took them the barricade. Priest got carted off and out of the stadium immediately. And I don't think they showed that on television, which makes me believe that's a legit injury.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
No, they didn't.
Yeah, it looked like Priest was legit having trouble breathing. Like, again, I don't know if he legit broke his ribs or something, but like that last it felt like they went to the finish a little quick on that, because I think Priest got legit hurt when he went through the double table to the outside. I think he got legit hurt. And he got carted off in the golf cart with a bunch of medical personnel surrounding him, and so I hope for a speedy recovery. I haven't heard a report about what it is specifically, but I do not think that is a work. I think that is he is legit hurt.
Well, the fact we didn't see it on TV tells you it is. So
yeah. So so speedy recovery to Damian Priest, but also at the same time, both of these guys can probably take a little bit of a break now anyway. Whenever they're ready, the main title picture is not going anywhere. You can insert them both back in whenever you want. But so solid match, better than expected.
Yeah, and I didn't know that there was actually like as much build for it as there was. Between like the Royal Rumble elimination. I just wasn't paying attention to Damian Priest that much. So when they went into the backstory, I was like, oh, okay, I guess there is something more here than I originally thought. But yeah, pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, it was a good filler.
Yeah. Next, the Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental title. My only mark against it would be that is basically the exact same finish as the women's triple threat.
Right.
Lack of communication in the back there between match producers. But again, I think this was the right move. I think if Dominik didn't win, then Bron had to retain, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think Penta hasn't been there long enough. I think Finn is better as just like this bitter, angry little Irishman than he would be as a champion right now. And him too. He's late enough in his career where he should be putting people over, not winning the title. But Dom deserves this. Dom went so far heel that he came back around to being a face.
I was just gonna say that when he won, there's a pop from the crowd, and that's not the pop I'm gonna talk about in a minute, but like, it was funny to see because people were happy that he won.
We were all chanting,
yeah,
dirty Dom,
yeah, no,
dirty Dom. Everybody,
like
everybody.
The Stone Cold effect, right? You're supposed to be bad, but it turns you good. Because the fans know this guy's paid his dues and he sold it, and now they're appreciative of that. And it's going to be funny if they go babyface with him, which they can do. They know it. I'll also say too that Bron Breakker, and again, this paid off obviously on Monday night, but man, what an appearance! I mean, he really stood out in that match.
Yes.
Well,
what you have to do if you're gonna make him lose, like you want him to, still come out being Bron Breakker.
Yeah.
And similarly to LA Knight, drops the title. Now you can move him up to the main event picture,
right?
Because Bron, he's definitely got that it factor.
Does right now.
Yeah. You can just keep moving him up, I think. And he looked amazing in that match.
Well,
it also protects him. He didn't take the pin.
Right.
You have Finn take the pin.
What's cool about him is just the unpredictability. I mean, he looks like he's going to do. You never know what he's going to do. The intensity is amazing, right? And he's keeping it up. So I love that character because he's unpredictable, and as we find out, right? But it's one of those things from a character building. The character himself is kind of simple. It's like, oh, he's a maniac, but it's the underside of that character of, well, you don't know what he's going to do that makes it so great.
Yeah, no, he has done it brilliantly. He's leaned into his Steiner heritage, but also carved out a nice niche for himself, which isn't always easy to do. But yeah, other quick thing, love that Dominik basically ad-libbed running back to the ring with the title to get one more ovation, and you had Finn stare at him like,
yeah, they all did. What are you doing?
Yeah, and to your guys' point, it feels like everybody except for Finn in the Judgment Day has kind of turned face recently, including Liv and Raquel, who we'll get to shortly.
Right.
Except for Finn, further insinuating that group, at least Finn, I think, is going to finally be kicked out of that group sooner rather than later.
Mm-hmm. So. I agree. And it's time. We got to do something different with the Judgment Day anyway. So
yeah, we got to get rid of, we got to bring back Demon Finn. Right.
I agree.
Like, I think Finn needs to leave, and I think everybody else, and especially because, we'll get into it more on Raw. Jade McDonagh came back. I think that group is full. We don't need Finn there anymore.
Yeah.
This was fun. This was the Randy Orton Open Challenge was up next. There were rumors. We had this guy had been mentioned early, but a few folks had we kind of poo-pooed it because there was no way that WWE would give a primetime spot at WrestleMania to the TNA World Heavyweight Champion.
Triple H would.
But they did. Also cementing the fact that, by the way, when Joe Hendry's contract is up, Joe Hendry is so going to the WWE.
Oh my goodness, the pop that he got. Look,
we flipped out. We flipped out. We were jumping up and down. We were everybody. The only time that the entire stadium was on key and in unison was singing Joe Hendry's song.
I saw that, Savi. I'm sure you did. Right through the television. Like, and the camera work on him was great, by the way.
Yeah.
But you could tell, everyone that was the biggest pop of the night, I think. Was for him.
Randy Orton, they cut to Randy Orton like in the ring, and he's looking around like, okay, I see it.
It was so well done. Everything was okay. He's like, this makes sense.
But this also goes back to the Rumble when you had Sheamus watching him versus The Miz, because like the wrestling fans, not just WWE fans, wrestling fans love what Joe Hendry has done.
Yeah.
He's great in the ring. He's super great. He's great in the ring, but he's even better on the microphone. Right. Like, and the song parodies he's done over the years, he's just, nobody is over more in wrestling right now than Joe Hendry.
Well, so both of you have agreed that if I was a wrestler, I'd be him.
Right.
And there's a cute lameness but appreciation factor to that, and I appreciate both of you. And in honor of him, I'll do that.
There you go. Yeah. And then the RKO out of nowhere on that.
Oh, it was brilliant.
Beautiful.
It was so beautifully done.
It is the best 3-minute match in WrestleMania history.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It did exactly what it was supposed to do. It was great.
Yeah, and again, Triple H saying you'll be back. Like it's like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah. So Lee, if you're Joe Hendry, then who's me and Zavi?
No, this is my moment, Ray. And I'm gonna. This is my.
I think I'm Paul Heyman. That's all.
That's. Well, I don't know if you turn on your friends like he would.
Probably not.
Yeah. So I mean, look,
Or
Paul Heyman. No, I don't think he would. That's the thing that makes Paul Heyman will do anything to survive. All right. And Ray, we're not talking real life right now. I know you will do anything to survive, but I don't think I don't think you would do that to your friends. Like you have some loyalty.
Yeah.
So I'd have to think about that. All right.
Okay.
That's and I want to make you wrestle, not Paul Heyman.
Okay, we'll get back to it then.
Yeah.
Definitely two guys that I don't think either of us are. Logan Paul beats AJ Styles.
Yeah, it's boring.
I didn't even predict this one because I was just like, they could go either way. It doesn't really matter for
100%.
Anybody.
Logan's Paul and Savi, you and I were talking about this. His character is unwelcome. Like the selfie cam, it's like, guys, what the hell are you doing?
It's not for a wrestling audience.
And it's just like, I texted Lee about this. I think the part where he's going to struggle as far as wrestling goes is the part where he actually has to build a character, where he has to do something else that isn't just being Logan Paul. So I think
you can't do that when you're only wrestling once every 2 months.
Well, and I'm going to say it too. This is my opinion. You guys can tell me if you disagree. The only path for him to succeed, if he even wants to do that, I'm not convinced he wants to do that.
Yeah.
Is he's going to have to take kind of a Cody Rhodes approach where he's going to have to get beat to hell for weeks. I mean, he's really going to have to take punishment, I think, to even earn anything from wrestling fans. I think he earned some respect. No, he's not.
And I think wrestling fans would enjoy that too much. Like he would never get over that way. He would never get over that way.
That's my point. Is that I think that's the only path, and I think that I don't think he's willing to do that.
Yeah.
B, who's going to want to do that to him, right? Because he's worth too much. I mean, he's probably the richest wrestler there, right? Outside maybe Orton. I think he's probably worth more than Orton is. All right.
He's probably worth more than a lot of them.
Yeah. I mean, there's just not a path there that makes me want to watch. I will say this, like he earned some respect for his ability at that Crown Jewel event a few years ago. Like he did better than anyone thought.
And even at the Rumble when he hit with Ricochet there's no denying his athleticism.
Right. It's
but everything else. It's everything else.
Yeah.
It's everything else.
If you guys saw that Karrion Kross tirade,
that's the bigger thing coming out of that match.
Yeah.
Karrion Kross, strap a rocket to him. I've been saying it for months, and just like everybody else, I was furious he didn't win the Andre the Giant Battle Royale Memorial on Friday Night SmackDown. Give Karrion Kross something to do beyond just being a guy trying to pull strings. Let him wrestle. Let him wrestle. He's really good.
With it. Because that was the best thing to come out of the AJ Styles Logan Paul.
100%. So 100% is Karrion Kross is 100% more important than AJ Styles and Logan Paul at this point, especially after Mania.
Which is not the point of a match, but hey, no. But hey, as if he benefits from it, more power to him.
Yeah. Moving in now to the penultimate match of WrestleMania, Lyra Valkyria, to the surprise of no one. They did storyline wise that Roxanne beat up Bayley on Saturday. Bayley had to be pulled out of Mania. They're going to reignite that feud to kind of help usher Roxanne onto the main roster, which we all expected anyway.
Right.
And Becky Lynch comes back.
Yay, the man.
Yeah,
it was a fun moment. I'm sure it was fun. Was it fun being there?
It was
felt
fun
random
pop.
Watching it on TV, but
yeah, it was a fun pop. We all knew that was going to probably be who it was once we heard Bayley was hurt. But I was shocked that they won, at least until Monday night. But I thought that what they did on Monday night, and this is the one time where I think we should talk about, get a little ahead of ourselves, is that Monday night Becky and Lyra dropped the titles back to Liv and Raquel.
Right.
Which I love. And then Becky turns heel on Lyra, blaming her for the loss, which I think is also phenomenal. Because now let the two of them feud, because hopefully Becky will give Lyra the rub. Because as much as good as Lyra is in the ring, she's another person who I'm just like, I just don't care.
Right. Yeah, I was like you being a bird is not doing it for me. I need a little bit more.
They were hoping that giving her the Intercontinental title was going to give her a bump, and it hasn't. So also, hopefully that title, which while the U.S. title has been massively upgraded with, elevated with Chelsea Green, that title, hopefully Lyra drops it, gives it to Becky. Becky can give that title some shine. Maybe gives the title then back to Lyra, and then hopefully a good feud with them will kind of catapult Lyra to that next level, because she has been floundering, in my opinion. So with what happened on Raw, I think you got the right result, which is now Becky versus Lyra is set up, and that Liv and Raquel are still the tag champs. I was just shocked that they actually dropped the title at all, even if it was only for 24 hours.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun to see Becky. Glad to see her back. Again, that whole match as a whole, I think the general opinion was like, this is weird and random, but we're here. But glad that we got, something out of it at the very least.
Yes. It was a very basic tag match.
Right.
Again, it is weird that that match didn't feel complete until what happened on Monday Night Raw.
Agreed.
And we'll get into more of that as well, because obviously that felt that way for a lot of stuff. Final match, John Cena got rid of all his special graphics, all this other stuff comes down. He's like, this is it. This is the end. You get basic Karrion.
Season premiere. All
in black. Comes down to the ring, and with help from Travis Scott, which, again, the best thing about WrestleMania is that we no longer have to hear Fiend ever again. It's a terrible song.
Fiend.
Whatever. I don't care.
Fiend.
Fiend, whatever. I don't care.
They said it 100 times in the song, and you hear him go, Fiend.
The problem is that when that song would come on, I would mute the television for a couple minutes.
Listen, just for everyone's knowledge, if you have kids and you haven't searched up what that word means yet, please go do so.
I don't even want to know.
No,
I don't even want to know.
You don't, but it's okay.
Travis Scott, this is where I was disappointed. Right result, terrible way to get there in the main event. Cody Rhodes, I'm thrilled he dropped the title. Honestly, I felt he should have dropped it months ago. I get why they saved it for Cena. Also, super excited that I was there in person for history. 17-time. Even it was the promo on Monday night. Never seen 17-time champ John Cena. Right result. Travis Scott's the one who costs Cody?
My thing is, you protected Cody for 3 years. For 3 years building this man up, and you have him lose because of Travis Scott? I was like, you built him up for 3 years and just to blow it up with Travis Scott? And I was like, I get it. We're not supposed to enjoy the, we're not supposed to love the result, but it just felt so deflating. My caveat to all of this is, if The Rock wasn't going to be the payoff at WrestleMania, then I, quite frankly, didn't really need to know that The Rock was the catalyst to John Cena's heel turn at all. We could have still been riding that in the dark, and it would have made the ending of WrestleMania no different.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, that's the thing is, to your point, Zavi, again, right result. But you should have had Travis Scott interfere, then The Rock interfere, maybe even Rollins or somebody else that you wanted to really solidify as a heel come down and interfere, right? You could have had Rollins be like, the only reason why you're champ is because of me in the first place. I giveth and I taketh awayeth.
Right.
Then I'm like, okay, cool. Cena won, but he needed all of his help, right? So again, you kind of don't tarnish everything that happened with Cody, if you have 3 interferences. Travis Scott, he gets a crossroads, and then that's it. And it's just whatever. Go away. I am so please do not let us. I don't want Travis Scott ever near a wrestling ring ever again. He's not Bad Bunny, who clearly put in the reps, put in the time, showed up for a whole bunch more shows, and actually built a storyline. Travis Scott, go away. Rock, get off your butt, stop being lazy, and show up and do your job.
Well, I wonder what happened that he wasn't there, because
he drank too much tequila.
No, I'm serious. I wonder if he was supposed to be there and something happened.
No, they were saying he wasn't going to be there for a really long time. But then he inserted himself, and then so then it made us think that was going to be the case. And then they were just like, nope, just kidding.
It sounds like The Rock is calling audibles whenever and wherever he wants. and like him and Triple H are starting to like butt heads a little bit.
Well, look, here's the thing with that match. It's a record-setting event. You know, I was saying before too that I wonder how much thought went into. Okay, look, if we're gonna have him break this record, there needs to be some. He has to do it, right? Like it can't be with the help of somebody else. And maybe they go, look, oh, well, Travis is small enough that it's not really him. I don't know. This match to me was a letdown. I'm not against Cena winning, obviously. Like I don't think anybody had an issue with that. It's just like I was sitting there texting Savi going, well, something else is going to happen. Like something else has to happen. And they're like, all right, everybody, good night. And I was like, what the hell? You know? So there's a difference between disappointment in someone winning or losing a match and disappointment because you were expecting something bigger to happen. And I'm going to say it again. We'll kind of bookend this. I was never expecting them to do better than last year. Last year was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my life. I mean that from a wrestling standpoint. But this was way below what I was expecting to happen. And again, Savi, I think you're right. They could have had Cena turn heel on his own, and then it come out last night or whenever that actually the Rock's behind all of this. Then it's like, oh wow, this is really good now. It doesn't ruin anything. No one's disappointed.
No.
Right. Now again, we'll get to the Monday after Raw in a minute, or the Raw after Mania in a second, where they did set this up a bit more. But yeah, the ending of WrestleMania was a little bit of a letdown. Certainly not as good as night one.
No. The ending of night 2 was not as good as the ending of night 1, but I will say night 2 overall, I think was still better than night 1.
Yes.
So then we go into Monday Night Raw. Cena comes out as expected, and he starts a countdown. This is how many days I have left here in WWE. Only 27 appearances. That's it. And then, and I've been calling this, and again, he's been quietly hinting at it. Cena says all this stuff, and again, continues to play the perfect heel, insults everybody in the stadium.
He's doing a great job with it.
He is so great. You really appreciate just how good Cena is now. And then out of nowhere, Randy Orton. Because he said it. He wants number 15, right? He wants it. He's been close. He's knocking on that door. And I do think Randy will actually be, will in the next, before Randy retires, in the next 5 years or so, I think Randy is going to break Cena's record. But you're also, if you're going to play the greatest hits, one of those greatest hits is Cena versus Orton. Correct. Randy as the, and this is great too, because this has never happened. Randy as the face versus Cena as the heel.
Right.
Well, and what I loved about that setup is two things, is Cena saying how, like, this is the last, I'm the best, you're never going to see this again. And the camera work of just like, wait, what about me?
Yeah.
And I was like, that's a great point. And then, Ray, I loved when he grabs the belt, and it's like, this was an interesting moment because he kind of lifts it with the, you guys okay with this? You are okay with this? And then he lifted it. I really do think if they weren't okay, he would have put it back down. You know what I mean? So it was a cool, just everyone's okay with this.
We want Randy as a face champion, at least for a little bit.
Yeah. And that's the other side of the dial there, right? Is like that's a payoff moment. That, and as you said at the beginning, that made that final match a little bit better.
Yes. It was a good payoff. And and I think that I'm all for it. I'm all for Randy becoming champion again, going for number 15. And then again, and look, and then you have Cody come back at some point. Maybe you have Cody come back as a heel, because Cody has said that he will turn heel, and then probably at one time himself, and then probably retire.
Well, I still think that there's that no one's talking about. There's that storyline with The Rock and Cody that happened Monday after Mania last year that they have never revisited, and they may never revisit it. But that he handed him something and said kind of cryptically, "Don't ever betray me again." And I would like to see that story play out.
I think Cody's going to be the one to take it back in December. I think they're going to get him off of our screens for a little bit, let us like relax on him, and then really I think this go around was to get the title on him, see how we're going to do. And now that they know that the kids react to him the way that they react to John Cena, I think they're going to build him up to take it to retire Cena at the end, and then really kind of the passing of the torch as far as Cody being the baby face.
Well, I can tell you this too. My son, who's 11, was very upset that Cody lost. Like I had to calm him down upset. Now he wasn't screaming or crying or anything like that, but I had to be like, hey buddy, it's a story. Like he was mad. So
kids
kids
love him.
love him. Kids
Yeah.
love him. Yeah, they don't know Cena like you and I.
No,
know, you know what I mean?
Right.
He's
No,
a Scotland
Cody is
George.
their Cena. But that's the thing is that also, I mean, Cena's a 17-time champ because he did lose it 16 times.
correct.
Right? Like this happens, right?
Mhm.
So this was the right result.
Yeah. Good
couple other
storytelling with that.
couple other good things from Raw. Sami Zayn returns. Rusev crush. Rusev is back. That's great. We knew he was coming back. I don't know why he attacked Otis and Tozawa, but okay. JD McDonagh came back to help Dom in his first Intercontinental title defense. Again, setting up what we said earlier, kind of starting to not make the whole Judgment Day seem to be faces now, except for Finn. By the way, I also love the JD McDonagh Iron Lung shirt merch because obviously he punctured his lung and now I thought that was like a cool piece of merch. Even though I would never wear anything from JD McDonagh, but okay.
Right.
And then all the ladies, this was the big deal. I was thrilled. Julia, Roxanne Perez, and Stephanie Vaquer come over from NXT, showing we don't need Charlotte Flair, and showing that look at all this young talent thriving on the main roster. That was a great match against Io Sky with Stephanie until obviously you had the interference. Julia staring down Rhea, like, I'm all for it. Let's go.
Yeah, you knew they weren't going to spend too long on NXT. They were too good coming into NXT. This was just kind of a stop by, get used to the WWE style, welcome to the main roster. Because we are off and running with these girls and I'm so excited.
Yeah,
As
it's
soon
good.
as Stephanie drops the title, she's immediately on the main roster, and that's going to happen probably sooner rather than later. And then finally, Bron Breaker, we mentioned him earlier, joining Seth Rollins at the end of the night and Paul Heyman in the start of what could be a new faction. You probably need one more wrestler to join it. Who could it be? Could it be Rusev? Could it be Malachi Black coming back? Could it be any of these other folks who knows? But Seth Rollins as the architect, as the revolutionary, as the visionary, Paul Heyman as his wise man now, and Bron Breaker as the muscle. That's a good little faction right there. Yeah. Really excited to see where they go with that. And then also, by the way, little news that broke on night one. WWE bought AAA Wrestling out of Mexico, the biggest lucha federation in the world. Now you're gonna have like El Hijo del Vikingo coming over. You're gonna have all of these new luchadors, folks. It is an exciting time to be a wrestling fan and a WWE fan in particular.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, buddy.
I know. I was saying this is just another example of like WWE like taking a step back, like learning the formula. They saw AEW kind of kick that Forbidden Door thing open. They said, okay, give us a second, we'll figure it out. Now we're going to see WWE kind of kicking down that Forbidden Door. And I think it's great because we are going to have people who made their name in AAA have like an avenue to give back to that organization, like your Pentas, your Rey Fenixes. So I think it'll be great. I think it's always a little bit iffy when a big organization comes in and like buys, another, but that's business and it's no stranger to the WWE. So hopefully it's a positive thing for the wrestlers in that area.
Well, look, if there's one thing the WWE understands, it's the business. It's funny, they never refer to it as a sport. I don't know if you got people pick up. It's always the business. I understand the business. And Triple H and WWE understand the business, right? So it's a bit of a rapid expansion. But I would also say, Savi, that AEW forced them into this. Okay, what? We're going to buy everything now. All right.
AEW had great ideas and WWE perfected them.
Well, and that's what great business people do. Listen, I can tell you right now, there is in business a patience that you have to have, both politically and from a savvy standpoint. And that if you're patient and you have a boatload of money, which helps you be patient, you're going to make better decisions, or you're going to perfect what other people do. That's what Apple does, right? Apple didn't invent the smartphone. Apple didn't invent the tablet. Apple didn't invent the music player, but they somewhat perfected them at the right moment. And that's what WWE has always done. They saw it, they did it. And again, even though this was a C+ or we'll say a B- WrestleMania when you add in the Raw,
Yeah.
the story continues. Savi says it perfectly. I'm still going to watch. And you're right. Like there was nothing here that like was like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
Well, and did you see Triple H after WrestleMania? He's like, and that's it, and that's the end of the year, and now the off season starts.
And then they throw another script at him.
Somebody gives another script. He's like, okay, here we go. The road to WrestleMania 42 starts right now.
Right.
Literally, the off season was 5 seconds. Like,
right.
Yeah, love to see it.
It's 24/7, 365, man. But yeah, look, again, not perfect, not the worst. Had a good moments. Will not be the greatest WrestleMania of all time. All right,
No.
but it wasn't the worst WrestleMania of all time by any means.
And hopefully they learn to stay away from Vegas now because Vegas was not ready to handle that.
Well, now they're heading to the Gateway to the west, right, in St. Louis. Or is that where are they going next year? Where do they say?
No, WrestleMania is New Orleans next year.
New Orleans, which is great. So sorry, St. Louis is Backlash, right? That's my fault.
Yeah. And then let's see. You got SummerSlam's
Mullins.
back. SummerSlam's in Jersey.
Yeah.
SummerSlam first 2 night SummerSlam is in Jersey this year at MetLife.
Well, I think that might have been part of the strategy too. Is that SummerSlam is like the opposite WrestleMania, right? So it's why not build that up to be bigger, right? That's the other thing, that there's this unwritten rule that WrestleMania has to be the biggest event of the year, and it will be. Don't get me wrong, but there's nothing to say we can't make another event bigger, via this. So I think the fact it's 2 nights tells you something's going to happen there too.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like that SummerSlam has kind of started to cement itself kind of in the New York, New Jersey area. At least a lot of them over the years have been there. Although SummerSlam next year, they've already announced for Minneapolis, which should be fun.
Yes. Can't do that in the winter.
No.
Tonight, it's -9 degrees here in St. Paul, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
And that's the thing is that basically, right? Like, unless it's in a dome, WrestleMania
would be, but yes, yeah.
WrestleMania basically cements itself as kind of trying to lean more towards warmer weather cities, whereas SummerSlam can kind of go anywhere, at least in the northern hemisphere, during the summer, so that it can kind of and I think that's why you're starting to see that kind of being like, yeah, we want to do open air stadiums, and if we want to do open air stadiums, then we have to do them certain times of the year, right? So anyway,
good stuff. What a WrestleMania wrap up. This was awesome.
So that's going to do it for us here. This is our Geeks Who Like Sports WrestleMania special. We'll be back next week, of course, with a more regular format. We're going to have playoffs to talk about. We're going to have, we got some Star Wars news. We got a little bit of Switch news. But I want to first thank Xavi for joining us here on our WrestleMania recap special. Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No, we couldn't do this without you. We'll see you next year.
Yes.
Yeah. Wait for it.
Okay.
I believe in the Geeks Who Like Sports. Yeah.